In this screencast, we are going to look at inventory valuation using the LIFO and the average cost methods for calculating cost of goods sold and ending inventory. And we're going to do this under a periodic system. In the previous screencast, we went over how FIFO works and how we would calculate our ending inventory and our cost of goods sold using FIFO. Now we are going to use LIFO. So under LIFO, last in, first out, what that really means is the last things that we purchased become the first things that are sold. So as we go to calculate cost of goods sold, what we look at is what did we purchase last during the month? And in this case, if we sold 170 bicycles, well, the first ones we sold must have been the 70 that we purchased on the 23rd for $34,300. And then after that, we would look at the 30 bicycles that we purchased on May 20th at $480 a piece. And then on the 13th, we would look at the 60 bicycles that we purchased at $475 a piece. Now at that point, 70 plus 30 plus 60, we've accounted for 160 bicycles that were sold, which means there are 10 more bicycles that we sold, and we would take those out of the May 9th purchases. We purchased 80 bicycles on May 9th. 10 of them were sold at $460 a piece. So if you add that all together, you come up with a cost of goods sold amount of $81,800. After that, then we can calculate our ending inventory. Now, if the last things that we purchased are the first things that we sold under LIFO, then the first things that we purchased still remain in ending inventory. So in this case, we have 220 bicycles in ending inventory, and the first 100 would be from our beginning inventory from May 1st, 100 bicycles at $450 a piece. And then the 50 bicycles that we purchased on May 2nd are also still in ending inventory at $455 a piece. And then finally, that gets us to 150 bicycles. We need to be at 220 bicycles in ending inventory. So 70 of the 80 bicycles that we purchased on May 9th remain in ending inventory, which of course makes sense since 10 were sold of the 80. So if you add that all together, we end up with $99,950 worth of inventory in our ending inventory. And if you add those two amounts together, $181,750, which is our cost of goods available for sale, and we know that our cost of goods sold plus our inventory must equal the cost of goods that we had available to sell. Now, a check that you can do is you can take that cost of goods available for sale, you can subtract out the ending inventory that you calculated, and it should give you the cost of goods sold number that you calculated. Next, we're going to look at the average cost method of inventory valuation, and that's a little different from FIFO and LIFO. Under the average cost method, we will take our total cost of goods available for sale and we'll divide it by the number of units that we have for sale. This will give us an average cost per unit. And in this case, if you take $181,750 and you divide it by 390, you end up with an average cost per unit of $466. Now we can take this average cost and calculate our cost of goods sold and our ending inventory rather easily. If we know we have 170 bicycles in cost of goods sold, that is, we sold 170 bicycles, if we multiply that by the 466, we end up with cost of goods sold of $79,224. And if we know what is left in our ending inventory is 220 bicycles, and we multiply that by the $466 per unit, we end up with $102,520 in our ending inventory. Now, if you add our cost of goods sold to our ending inventory, you don't exactly come up with the $181,750. We end up with $181,744, and this is just due to rounding. So as you can see, the average cost for cost of goods sold is going to give you a number that's between FIFO and LIFO. The 79,000 falls between 76,950 and 81,000. And also our ending inventory number is going to fall in between. That's the way the average cost is always going to fall. So this completes our screencast on inventory valuation using FIFO, LIFO, and average cost methods.